If you have 20 plus pounds to lose, these five foods are the fastest way to remain stuck in your current situation. And now, not because these five foods are necessarily evil, but because they are very easy to overeat. And they're also very difficult to track. And most importantly, they do not keep you full whatsoever. Why would you put yourself in a situation by eating these foods that are quite literally taking you further and further and further away from you achieving your fat loss goals, especially if you have over 20 pounds of fat to lose? These foods are almost like a waste of calories. And now I'm going to give you the exact swaps so you can still eat like a normal human being and drop the fat predictably. I'm not just going to tell you to avoid these foods, I'm also going to tell you what to replace them with. Now, before we get into today's topic, I help coach busy men who want to lose 30 to 50 pounds, all without sacrificing their favorite foods or spending hours in the gym. And by the end of this video, you'll know what to remove first if fat loss has been random for you for the past couple of years and you've kind of just been stuck yo-yoing up and down in this vicious cycle. I'll show you the five foods, the science behind why they were a problem, what I see with my clients, and then lastly, the best alternatives. And now, if you want access to my free fat loss group to show you how busy men are dropping 30 to 50 pounds without sacrificing their favorite foods, the link will be in the description down below. So let's start with food number one, and that is this. This may trigger you. Trigger warning. Peanut butter. Peanut butter. So many people, I can't believe it, but they still think that peanut butter is a healthy, high protein food. If you were to actually look at the back of the nutrition label, you can clearly tell that it is not a good source of protein. It is a great source of fats. If you were to tell me, hey, Conan, I'm eating peanut butter because of the fats, 100%. I love that for you. Get your healthy fats in. Great for your hormones. But if you're telling me, hey, Conan, I'm eating this big serving of peanut butter to help me hit my protein goals, there are far better options out there that are higher in protein, lower in calories, and not as addictive. Peanut butter is one of the most dangerous healthy foods for fat loss. Now, once again, not because peanuts are necessarily bad for you, but because peanut butter is basically a calorie brick that tastes so good, your brain forgets math. Most people don't measure it, they eyeball it, and the difference between one serving size, 1 tablespoon, and 3 tablespoons is the difference between progress and pain. That is why it is so dangerous. Number one, people don't track the actual serving size. If you were to actually measure out on a digital food scale, not the old-fashioned way with measuring cups or measuring spoons, like no, digital food scale, because that does not lie. One serving typically is around 32 grams, which is 2 tablespoons. If you were to measure that out, you would probably start crying, just like I did the first time I realized how little of a serving size that actually was in real life. Because prior to me weighing out my food, especially on a digital food scale, I would eyeball things. And yeah, when I eyeball things, I tend to be quite generous with my servings. I'm like, big dollop, that should be 2 tablespoons. But once I actually placed it on a digital food scale, I measured it out. I'm like, wow, my quote unquote serving size of 2 tablespoons in reality was actually closer to like 4 or 6 tablespoons just in one sitting, right? And it's not like this huge thing where like that could be the difference between you being in a calorie deficit versus you being in a calorie surplus. So you have to be careful here. Now, here's the nuance. Nuts can be associated with stable body weight in research when people intentionally substitute them into the diet. Now, they're not automatically fattening, but in real life fat loss, peanut butter usually shows up as an extra spoon while cooking, extra spoon after dinner, extra spoon while staying healthy. That is why it becomes a silent surplus. And this is one of the most common things I see within my clients. A guy before joining the program will tell me, I'm eating clean, chicken, fruit, salads. Then I look at the healthy fats and it's like peanut butter, olive oil, trail mix, avocado, all in the same day. And now my clients, like they didn't have a metabolism problem. It just had a portion control problem. Now, here are a couple of very easy swaps that keep the flavor without the calorie landmine. First and foremost, switch your regular peanut butter to powdered peanut butter. Simply mix it with some water or some Greek yogurt, or add a scoop of protein powder into it, turn it into a sludge, and then use it as you typically would with your peanut butter, either as a dip or as a topping, whatever your heart desires. This is one of the honestly greatest inventions out there if you're a peanut butter lover, like 100%. And even I do this to this day. I really don't eat peanut butter as much. I prefer to get most of my healthy fat sources from other sources that actually keep me fuller for longer and that I don't really tend to overeat or binge on, because I can get the exact same taste, exact same flavor, exact same texture, exact same everything from peanut butter, from powdered peanut butter, for a fraction of the calories. And it actually has a bit more protein and way less fat. So I get my peanut butter fix from powdered peanut butter, and I get my actual fat sources from far better options, including salmon, avocados, and olive oil. Those are my go-to. Sometimes I'll throw in a couple of eggs too, but peanut butter, like, yeah, no. I know for me it's a trigger food. And this is also really important, where if you have an easy time measuring out and you're okay with just having a small little serving size of peanut butter every now and then totally cool. You can incorporate it. But if you have the tendency to overeat on peanut butter, or you just don't like the idea of how little an actual serving size is, then substituting it for a powdered peanut butter, you get way more volume for way less calories for the exact same taste. No brainer, absolute no brainer. Another alternative could be strawberries, so some 0-calorie sugar-free syrup and some Greek yogurt to help satisfy that sweet craving. And then lastly, here actually, which you may not anticipate me telling you, but that is substituting peanut butter for like actual nuts. So like actual peanuts that aren't turned into a butter, basically, portioned into a bowl. These are typically a lot harder to overdo than a jar of spread, especially when it comes to almonds. Like if you can substitute your almond butter for like actual almonds, you get the crunch, you get the satisfaction, as opposed to the spread, which, like, yeah, it's been processed, it's been turned into butter, and it's just a lot easier to get down, right? So those are the three substitutions: powdered peanut butter, Greek yogurt with some strawberries and some sugar-free syrup, or actual nuts. Just make sure, once again, with all these foods, that you're actually portioning them out. Moving on to food number 2, white rice. This is a classic bodybuilding staple. You see all these big, jacked bodybuilders eat chicken, broccoli, and rice, beef and rice, chicken and rice, 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 rice. And similar to peanut butter, rice, it has its place. Don't get me wrong. But if you have to lose body fat, if you are a big eater, if you tend to overeat, rice is not going to be beneficial to you. I really view rice as almost like an empty calorie, because if you actually look at the nutrition fact of rice, it is literally 0 grams of fat, 0 grams of fiber, 0 grams of protein, and a bunch of carbs. Now, if you're looking for strictly just carbohydrates, it is amazing, right? You get no fluff, no extra, just plain carbs. But if you're trying to lose body fat, you really need to adopt the mindset of every single calorie that goes into my body, it has to earn its place there. I'm not just going to randomly shove calories down my throat. It has to be intentional, and it has to have a purpose. Now, when it comes to white rice, once again, if you need something quick, fast absorbing, fast digesting, right before a workout maybe, be my guest, go ahead. But if you're constantly hungry, you have a hard time sticking to your diet, you want to be in a calorie deficit, but you just tend to overeat, rice is not going to help fix that issue for you. It's just going to make it easier for you to get more carbs down. I don't eat rice. I just don't really see the value in rice. If I need carbs, I get my carb sources that also offer me a lot more than just the carbohydrates. I opt for potatoes. They're a lot more satiating. They have a lot more fiber. They actually have vitamins, vitamin C. They have minerals in them. Or I go for some fruit. I go for some vegetables. I go for some oatmeal, which once again, has more fiber in it. It's a bit more slower digesting. So if your goal is fat loss, you really need to be picking your food sources, especially your carbohydrate sources, a lot more carefully. Don't just waste your daily carbs on rice. Don't do that. Instead, replace it for carbs that are going to keep you fuller for a lot longer, going to keep you satiated and fueled throughout the day, as opposed to giving you a quick spike of energy and then have you come crashing down again. Once again, oatmeal, potatoes, sweet potatoes, russet potatoes, any type of potato. They rank the highest on the satiety index. Eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, just foods that offer a lot more than strictly just carbs. You want to be adding fiber, vitamins, minerals, stuff that keeps you full, right? And now if you have the opposite issue, which my channel is not made for that, but if you are bulking and you have a hard time getting the calories down, then yes, rice is going to be your best friend because it's so easy to get down. It has absolutely nothing else but carbs. And yeah, if you're trying to gain a whole lot of weight, it's just going to make it easier for you to do that. But this channel is not made for those people, right? We are here for fat loss. We're here for sustainability. We are here to make fat loss as easy as possible. And rice, unfortunately, will not help you do that. Once again, white rice is not bad, but if you have 20 plus pounds to lose, it is a terrible default carb for most people. Why? Because it's easy to eat fast. It's not very filling compared to other options, and it stacks calories before your brain gets the I'm good signal. How many of you have ever gone to a restaurant or just have eaten food before and you'll just keep on eating the food and you just keep on eating it and eating it and eating it until eventually your brain tells you like, okay, now we should probably stop. But your brain will only tell you that minutes, sometimes hours out. I won't say hours, that's pretty extreme, but like a lot later after eating, if that makes sense. So essentially you can keep on eating, especially when it comes to rice, before your brain actually tells you, signals to your body to stop eating that, hey, we're full. If you've ever had sushi before, or you can eat sushi, you can eat a lot of that in a very short time span. I know this from personal experience. I just keep on eating the sushi, and then like my brain will still tell me like, hey, it's delicious, let's keep on eating. But then eventually you hit this wall where it's like, okay, now it finally comes crashing down on you. But the damage has already been done. And that is why rice is so sneaky, where you can just keep on eating it and eating it and eating it before your brain actually tells you to stop eating. Now, we have also good evidence that whole grains, right, the foods that I just listed, tend to improve fullness and reduce hunger compared to refined grains. And there's classic satiety research showing massive differences in how filling different foods are per calorie, with potatoes ranking extremely high. Potatoes are my go-to carbohydrate source. I have them every single day with my meals. I love making them. And if you don't like eating potatoes, try making them this way. And this is like the lazy version of how I like to do it. If you guys notice, I'm all about systems. I'm all about efficiency. I'm a very lazy person. I don't want to be cooking up Michelin style meals every single day. Like, no, I'm pure laziness, pure efficiency. So what I do is I'll grab my roasted potatoes. I'll wash them. I'll wrap them in paper towel, throw them in the microwave. 3 to 4 minutes just to soften up. Then what I do is I cut them in half. I place them onto a pan, high heat for 5 minutes to crisp up. That is the most delicious way you'll have your russet potatoes. No oils, no butters, not even using cooking spray. I just put it on a very high heat on a pan, cook them, add my favorite seasoning, everything but the bagel seasoning, add some of your favorite hot sauce. Like that is it. Add your chicken breast, add your protein, add your vegetables, add your healthy fats. That is a solid meal done in minutes. If you have an air fryer, amazing. Use your air fryer. I unfortunately don't, but that is the best way to make your potatoes. So if your goal is fat loss, you want to be eating carbohydrates that buy you fullness and don't take that away from you. Now, most men don't gain fat because of their rice that they have for dinner. They gain fat because rice turns into a massive rice bowl, and then seconds, I'm still hungry an hour later, right? It doesn't fill you up. So here are some better swaps. If you want a simple rule, use high volume carbs most of the time. So think of your potatoes, either air fried, roasted, or boiled, your beans, lentils, your oats, and once again, your mixed vegetables and fruits as your like base carbs. Now, if you still want that rice feeling, like if you're making like a stir fry, for example, and you kind of like you need that texture, there are substitutes out there. Instead of doing regular rice, do cauliflower rice. Or if you can, if you have the discipline to do this, just do a less of a serving size of the actual rice. But I would definitely recommend you just substituting your white rice for cauliflower rice. Way more volume, and you get a lot more fiber, and you get the vitamins and minerals from the cauliflower. Like, come on, no brainer. Once again, going back to what I said earlier, you need to be picking your calories wisely if your goal is fat loss, and actually lose the fat and keep it off without suffering in a fun and sustainable way. Because I know people who suffer, right? They'll eat their peanut butter, they'll eat their white rice, and yes, they will still lose the weight. But deep down, they are suffering. They have a small little portion of peanut butter, and they're like, wow, like, I want more of that. They have a small little portion of rice, and they're like, wow, that did not fill me up whatsoever. What a waste of calories. Whereas our clients, they're eating massive plates, massive bowls of high volume foods that keep them full, keep them satiated. They actually have a hard time sticking to their, like, they have a hard time like eating enough calories sometimes due to the amount of food volume that they eat. How amazing is that? Imagine living in a world, being in a situation where you're dropping fat every single week. And you're constantly like, you're satisfied, you're full, you're energized. You never even feel the need to cheat on your diet, to binge on your diet, because you're not tempting yourself with these hyper palatable foods that are so easy to get down, so easy to overeat. And you actually look forward to your meals because you know how great they make you feel, how easy it makes you to lose body fat. Imagine living in that world. It is an amazing world to live in. Food number 3, or I guess this isn't a food, it's a drink, orange juice. And I would say any liquid calorie for that matter. Orange juice is the biggest scam in fat loss because it is fruit calories with the fiber removed. You get the taste with 0 of the vitamins, 0 of the minerals, and 0 of the fiber. It literally strips away all of the good stuff that you get from actual fruit and turns it into a juice. You can drink 200 to 400 calories in 30 seconds, and it barely changes your hunger. This is the closest thing to wasted calories, in my opinion. Sodas, smoothies, drinks, especially the prepackaged ones that you find at the grocery stores, the quickest way to just get a bunch of calories in. And this is the bad parts. It doesn't fill you up, and it actually makes you want to eat even more. What the heck? If you want to put fat loss on hard mode, literally do that. Eat your peanut butter, eat your white rice, and drink your fruit juice. If you want to make it almost impossible to lose body fat, do that. Now, research comparing liquid calories versus solid calories, especially in the form of carbohydrates, shows people compensate worse when calories are consumed as liquids. Now, in other words, you drink calories and you don't naturally eat less later. And recent systematic review evidence on 100% fruit juice points to concerns around excess calories and weight gain, especially when intake stacks on top of the diet. So if you're regularly just eating your breakfast, lunch, and dinner and a couple snacks, and you add fruit juice or liquid calories on top of that, it could easily just like add hundreds, if not thousands of extra calories throughout the days and weeks, which could very easily just wash away your calorie deficit. So yeah, they sneak up on you. Don't do that. Like, I make a rule to myself. No matter where I'm at, what my situation is, I refuse to drink my calories because I know I get 0 satisfaction from that. And I'm going to be left feeling hungrier afterwards. Even at a restaurant, I'll go for water. I'll go for sparkling water. Or I'll go for a diet soda. And no, diet soda does not cause cancer. It does not make you fat. I literally made an entire video on this like 2 days ago. Go watch that. Diet sodas, if they help you stick to your calorie deficits, they help you satisfy your sweet tooth and you have them in moderation, it is actually going to be a net benefit to you because now you're actually able to stick to your calorie deficit. You're able to stick to your diet while satisfying your sweet tooth. Like, no brainer, absolute no brainer. Make a rule to yourself right now. No more liquid calories for me. Because you got to think about it. Liquid calories are the way your body at least views them. They view liquid calories as pre-digested food, pre-chewed food. Imagine someone chewing the food for you and then spitting it into your mouth. Absolutely disgusting. Sounds disgusting. Sorry if I made you cringe a bit. But that is essentially how your body views it, because once that liquid food goes into your body, you just swallow it. And once you swallow it, it's already been pre-digested and it goes straight into your digestive stream. That is it. Your body doesn't need to chew it. It doesn't need to work hard to break it down, to digest it. It's already been digested. Your body doesn't have to work hard for it. But you did just consume within your body however many calories that was, 200, 300, 400, 500 calories. I don't know about you, but I would rather eat my food, chew my food, be satiated after eating my food than not. Imagine eating a big fat steak. You got to chew it, you got to grind it, you got to like take multiple chews, and then you got to swallow it. Like, you got to work hard for that, right? Whereas orange juice, applesauce, like even applesauce, like, right? Like, it's baby food. It's literally baby food. So eat your food, chew your food. Do not drink your food. Do not consume liquid calories. Now, this is how it shows up with our clients. They do their healthy breakfast. They have their eggs, fruits, and a big glass of juice. And then they're starving by 10:30 a.m. They grab a snack, then lunch is even bigger, and now the deficit is gone, unfortunately. Not because they're weak, but because liquid calories are sneaky. They are very, very sneaky. And what makes them even sneakier is that a lot of people don't even keep track of them. Like, if you are going to be consuming liquid calories, at the very least, keep track of it. Don't view it as a free pass. You just had a cup of orange juice. That's 200 calories, 100 calories, like however big your glass was. Like, keep track of it at the very least, right? So here are a couple of swaps that you can do right away. Instead of orange juice, eat actual oranges. Eat the real thing. You might as well get more bang for the buck, right? On top of that, a couple of like alternatives: water with electrolytes, diet soda, or flavored sparkling water if it helps with adherence. And then lastly, coffee, black coffee or tea. Just make sure you don't have it too close to bedtime. I usually cut off my coffee intake before noon. But yeah, these are all great alternatives. Actual fruits instead of the fruit juice. Water is honestly way better. Sparkling water, water enhancers, add like a meal squirts to your water if you don't like the taste of water, whatever. Add some electrolytes if you sweat and you have a physically active job and you exercise. And then in the morning, have your caffeine in the form of black coffee or tea. This will help suppress your appetite and also give you more energy. Food number 4, granola and other healthy cereal toppings. Granola, this is kind of funny. Granola is peanut butter's best friend in crime. If you eat a meal with peanut butter and granola, I'm just assuming that you don't care about fat loss and you're just trying to get body fat. You're just trying to get fat, basically. It is marketed as healthy food, granola, right? But it's basically calorie-dense clusters that pour like cereal, so people accidentally eat 2 to 3 servings every single day. And I see so many people make this mistake where they will substitute their sugary bowl of cereal, which they know, their Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops, they know that's not a great way to start their day. Like, you don't need to be a health guru to know that starting your day with a bowl of cereal that has cartoons on it, that has different flavors like Fruit Loops, you know that's not a healthy way to start your day. You know that. Like, right? Like, you know that. So you make the conscious decision to swap your sugary bowl of cereal with a quote unquote healthier bowl of cereal. So you swap the Fruit Loops for granola by Quaker. You're like, oh, okay, I see this in the cereal. It's kind of like in the health section. I might even get the organic one, right? Because if it's organic, it must be healthier, right? I feel healthy buying this. I feel good about this. Yeah, this is a great swap. But what you're essentially doing there without you really realizing it, unless you pay attention to this, which hopefully you do, but most people don't, you're substituting, yes, a bad sugary bowl of cereal, which actually has 120 calories per 30 grams per serving, essentially. And you're substituting that with granola, which actually has double the amount of calories per serving that your sugary bowl of cereal had. So what you're essentially doing is you are replacing your sugary cereal with a more higher calorie, higher fat, higher sugary cereal, granola, which is disguised as being healthy, but it's actually a sugar bomb, a fat bomb, a calorie bomb, essentially. So what you may think is a healthier alternative is actually not, unfortunately. And I made this mistake too. I'm not just like calling you guys out. Like I made that mistake. Exactly. I swapped out my sugary bowl of cereal with granola, thinking I would be healthier. And what happened? Nothing. Actually, the opposite of what I wanted to happen happened. I gained more weight. I gained more fat. And actually, this is quite funny. Because I loved the taste of granola so much, I actually ate more of it too. So instead of having like just one big bowl, I would have 2 or 3 bowls. And I had this weird illusion of like, oh, the healthier food I eat, like magically calories don't count. I can eat unlimited amount of this. And because it was so good and so tasty, I quite literally almost did have unlimited amount of it. To start my day, before lunch even happened. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. So this is less about one granola study and more about a principle. Ultra processed, highly palatable foods make it easier to eat more calories without trying. This doesn't just apply with granola, this applies with like all foods. Now, in a controlled inpatient study, people eating an ultra processed diet consumed more calories and gained more weight compared to unprocessed, right? Which that kind of makes sense. Now, even when diets were matched on paper for things like macronutrients, a lot of granolas are engineered to be ridiculously easy to overeat. And now one of my clients, before joining our program, he told me, I only had Greek yogurt and granola. And then I asked, okay, well, how much granola? And they say, oh, just a sprinkle, just a dash. And now when we measured his sprinkle of granola, it was unfortunately up to 400 calories, which is just mind-blowing for a sprinkle of granola. So do this instead. Have your Greek yogurt, but instead of granola, top it with some frozen berries and add some cinnamon on top. You get way more volume, way more micronutrients, way more fiber, a lot more taste, a lot more sweetness. And now if you want, you can add 1 measured tablespoon of granola if you insist on having that crunch. Just measure it out. Or use a high fiber cereal, still measured out. Or add crunch with rice cakes, crunched up or puffed wheat style options, right? Like there are still different variations out there that still kind of give you that texture that you want, that crunch, without the calories. So rice cakes, once again, are a great option, right? It's just lightly salted. They have minimal calories. You can crunch it up into your yogurt bowl and you can still kind of have that satisfaction. And now last food here is the healthy, quote unquote, healthy coffee drinks. Think of your lattes, creamers, and syrup coffees. If you're trying to lose 20 plus pounds, stop drinking desserts. You are quite literally drinking milkshakes. Like don't even sugarcoat it. You're starting your day with a milkshake. Most coffee people, like if you think you're a coffee person, you're not, because you're not actually drinking coffee. It's just a milkshake that happens to contain caffeine in it. Again, coming back to liquid calories and poor compensation. You drink it, you don't feel as full, and you don't automatically reduce food later. And even if the drink isn't huge, it is a daily thing. You have it every single day. And those daily extras erase weekly deficits. I have seen guys lose weight without changing meals at all, just by deleting the harmless 300 to 600 calorie drinks. That's not motivation, that is math. And sometimes just making the smallest changes, the smallest swaps can make huge differences, right? The coffees, quote unquote coffees, the milkshakes that you're having every single morning, either eliminating that or substituting that for like a black coffee with maybe some Splenda, right? Or if you insist on having it, it's like maybe just don't add as much sugar, don't add as much cream, and actually keep track of it, because I see a lot of people make this mistake too, where they'll have their morning coffee, they'll have their morning tea, but then they don't keep track of the creamers, the sugars, whatever else they add into it. They don't keep track of it for whatever reason. It still has calories, right? And if you're 20 pounds overweight, like those calories count, and they probably contributed to you gaining all that weight. So a couple of simple swaps: black coffee, coffee with a measured splash of milk, 0 sugar sweetener if you want, or protein coffee using a measured scoop and not free pouring the creamer. This is a great alternative too. A lot of our clients, they love having like something sweet in the morning. They love their caffeine. They love the taste of coffee, but they don't actually like the taste of like black coffee. So what we have them do instead is they'll take their black coffee, either cold brew or hot, and they'll add a scoop of protein powder to it. They shake it up, and it's like this amazing caffeine, coffee flavored protein shake. Great way to start your day. You get your caffeine hit, you get your protein hit, and it'll kind of keep you going for the next couple of hours, especially if you're busy, if you're on the go and you want something quick. It's actually a lot quicker than standing in line at Starbucks or waiting in a drive-thru at any food place, coffee place. Like, you're just gonna wake up, make your own, brew your own coffee, just add a quick scoop of protein powder. I prefer using My Protein's protein powder. Very cheap, very affordable, very tasty. Code Cohnan saves you 40% off your entire order. They're delicious. You can use like a salted caramel flavor, vanilla, chocolate. They have so many flavors. Do whatever your heart desires. Add a scoop into it, shake it up, and then bring it with you on the go. To work, while you're dropping off the kids at school, while you're running errands. It is cheaper. It is more convenient, lower calorie, helps you hit your fat loss goals, more satiating, just more everything. Like, sometimes when I'm like making these videos, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. This makes so much sense not to do. Like, sometimes I'm like, I question people. I'm like, why would you spend more money, waste more calories, waste more time standing in line at Starbucks on a $10 high calorie, 1,000-calorie milkshake to start your day, compared to a very quick, very easy, very cheap, very affordable, very healthy, very tasty drink that you can get done in seconds and then carry on with the rest of your day. Like, you're going to be saving money. You're going to be losing more fat. You're going to be sticking to your diet a lot easier. You're not going to have all these cravings later on. You're just literally like, it's uncomparable. Like, it literally makes no sense. So hopefully this video made sense to you guys. And hopefully you guys can, if you are making these mistakes and you are 20 pounds overweight and you're eating your rice, your peanut butter, your granola, your milkshakes, you're eating all these things. If you can just make these small little swaps, I guarantee you body fat will just melt off, especially if you track your calories, you get in your steps, you do your workouts, you do all the basic things that we have all of our clients do. Fat will just melt off effortlessly. So to recap, if I had 20 plus pounds to lose, I would pause these foods first: peanut butter, white rice, orange juice, granola, and dessert coffees. Because they're not bad foods. They're foods that make a calorie deficit harder than it needs to be. So here's the rule. If it's calorie dense, easy to drink, or easy to mindlessly pour, it needs a portion plan or it is out. Portion it out, weigh it out, make it fit within your calories, or it's gone. And once again, I would rather put fat loss on easy mode than put it on hard mode. Now, if you need help putting all of this together and you need help losing 30 to 50 pounds, all without sacrificing your favorite food, just spending hours in a gym, what you can go ahead and do is schedule a free consultation call with me down below, where we'll essentially go over your current goals. We'll go over your current struggles and create a game plan together to help you absolutely crush them in the next 3 to 6 months. If that sounds good to you, the link will be in the description down below, and I'll see you all there. Peace.